Good morning, Dick Fleishman with Pocket Fire, Information Officer for Southwest Area Complex Incident Management Team 2. It's Tuesday, June 23rd. Today, the fire is at 341 acres and 625 personnel, still 0% contained. Operations yesterday were securing the 231 road, which is on the north edge of the fire, and doing prep work on that. And they also took a dozer line to the east of the fire to the edge of the rim above Oak Creek Canyon. The folks in the structure folks down below in the rim and in the Slide Rock area or the Oak Creek Canyon area continue to do prep work around structures and assessing what they need to do to protect structures down there. As well as continue reopening contingency lines that were put in place for the 2014 slide fire. Similar activities occurred in and around Seven Canyons and Enchantment with the structure protection folks down there. One big change from yesterday is the Coconino County Sheriff's Department did a change the evacuation order for the residents of Oak Creek Canyon to set, so they are allowed to go back in at 8 o'clock this morning. That is not an opening of State Route 89A. Arizona Department of Transportation still has that closed, and that will be monitored by the Coconino County Sheriff's Department for entry of residents only. So they'll have to provide proof of residency. Last night, they did a strategic firing operation on the west side of the fire, where the fire was most active yesterday. Keeps wanting to push to the west and then actually make runs up the rim, potentially throwing spots over our main indirect line up there, which is the Forest Road 231. So they actually added some fire to actually remove those fuels and did a backing fire, which is a much more low intensity fire than what we would call a head fire that gets established in the bottom and runs to the top of the hill rather rapidly. So today we're looking at a slight increase in moisture the next couple of days. We'll have slight increase in moisture, but not enough wetting rain to do much with this fire. And then after that, we're expecting several days of fairly strong winds out of the southwest. That's the end of report today, Joe.
Okay. A few follow-ups for you though. Yesterday you had a bit of a increase in the acreage of the fire. What drove that?
Yeah, so that was is mainly in the northwest portion of the fire, which is, if it's gonna grow anyways, going to the west is better than going to the east, because the east takes it towards Oak Creek Canyon. But it's just the natural progression of that fire on those steep slopes where we can't put our personnel, and we're trying to keep it in check with helicopters, but helicopters, they're dropping water, but there's just not enough water and not enough frequency to actually put that fire out. So it just slows it down and keeps it in check. So it was starting to get established lower in the canyon. That's why on that west side, that's why they did that strategic firing, to keep it from making a big run to the top. Because when it makes a run to the top, it actually throws a lot of spots, and the spots can get across our Forest Road 231, which is our containment line on the top.
And then the winds are picking up over the next several days. So how worried are you about that when it comes to like the dozer line and on the grid?
Yeah, that's definitely a big concern, because one thing that happens if we get too strong of winds, then we lose our air support because they can't fly in that. So, that's definitely a concern for the fire managers, and that's why they're doing a lot of those contingency lines in and around the fire area and around those values at risk.
And what drove the downgrade to set status for Oak Creek Canyon?
It was, I don't have that information. I wasn't in on that conversation, but generally what usually happens, but I can't say for this fire, is that they felt it was safe enough for the residents to return, but not for the general population. Hence, the road's still closed. We want to get people back to their homes as soon as possible. That does not mean that if stuff gets fire activity increases and pushes into Oak Creek Canyon, that they would not be asked to leave again. Something that's not a desirable situation, but it is. Think about it. If you're away from your home, you really want to get back as soon as possible. So fire managers and Coquino County sheriffs, they meet constantly, basically, to figure out how to manage that evacuation. Again, Coquino County sheriffs manage the evacuation. We manage the fire. So so in cooperation between both agencies, they felt it was safe to let residents back in.
All right, Dick. Thanks, sir. That's all I got.
All right. We will chat with you tomorrow.